What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope all doing well. We had the NFL divisional round playoffs this past weekend. To me, the NFL divisional round is the best playoff round in all of the four big American sports. Let's get into it. Let's do a little recap. The Saturday games, we had the Denver Broncos defeat the Buffalo Bills in a thriller, 33-30 in overtime. It's a crazy back and forth game. Denver comes out on top in overtime.
Here's another one to Cook. And Cook fumbles, and the Broncos are right there. Singleton delivered the blow that knocked the ball out, and Denver has the recovery with Hufanga. They fake the handoff to Harvey. They will sidearm pass. It's wide open to the lineman we just mentioned. Crum comes in as an eligible receiver. On 2nd and 10, he's rolling, planting, going. Here's we go, Tony, to the end zone. They got it! What a call! No timeouts. Tried to load it up. Better head to the sideline if he wants another play. Oh, he lost the football.
That's why you never do that.
It is picked up by the Broncos, and there's time on the clock. 50 yards it is. Lutz to end the half with a Denver 10-point lead. On 3rd and 5, Bills rush 4. Pass is intercepted. Oh, look at one of the linemen just jump up and take it out of the air. 2nd and 14. Deep ball down the field, and he is intercepted by Locke. Locke jumps right in front of the receiver and takes it right back for the Denver Broncos. Here's Allen. Drop it back, throwing it to the end zone, and it is hauled in. Kincaid, just as he did a week ago with the touchdown grab. Need to get to the 4 for a first. Quick pass, it's on the ground. Shakir, did he pick it up cleanly? Well, the Bills think he did. Kicking in this stadium has this from 31, and the kick is good with 4:11 to go.
It's like go out there and save our season.
1st and 10.
They're going after him.
Going for the end zone, over the shoulder. Oh, Mims! Here's Prater from 50. And the kick. It's long enough and good.
Coming after him all out.
They pick it up, and they go deep down the field. And the pass is caught. No, it's McMillan has the football. How about that? Again, lofts it down the field over the shoulder. And there's the flag on Taron Johnson.
There are 2 fouls by the defense on the play. Personal foul, number 97, for roughing the passer. That penalty's declined. Pass interference, defense. That ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Oh, they're going to take a shot. And he's got a man wide open. And it's incomplete. White is flagged. And the Broncos are right at the doorstep. The championship game. Here it is on the way. And the Denver Broncos have won it in overtime.
Let's break down the highlight that I just showed. First things first, early second quarter, Bills up 7-3. James Cook fumbles. Big turnover forced there by Denver. They got that elite defense out there in the mile high. I would set up Bo Nix and the Broncos with very good field position. He throws one to Frank Crum on 3rd and 1 inside the 10-yard line. Frank Crum, a backup offensive lineman who was in there as an eligible receiver, finds him for a big man touchdown. Always cool to see those. Then, much later in the quarter, last 30 seconds of the half, Bo with a dime to the end zone for a touchdown. 17-10, 22 seconds left. Bills get the ball. I think their first play from scrimmage from their own 30. Allen scrambling, and he just throws a lateral to nobody. Bills almost recover it, but they muff it. Denver comes up with a fumble with 2 seconds left, and then Will Lutz, 50-yard field goal, hits it as time expires. So the Bills, or Josh Allen really, should get the criticism for that. That was just a horrific play by him. Just hand Denver an extra 3 points, making it 20-10. Third quarter, less than 6 to go, 23-17 Denver. Bonus a brutal pick, throws it to the Bills' defensive lineman. A brutal pick there, big turnover for the Bills. But Josh Allen plays later, 2nd and 14 from the 40-yard line. Just a terrible interception. It's picked off. I think it was Pat Bryant of Denver. Returned it to about midfield or so. So Denver escapes there. But fourth quarter, about a minute and a half in, Allen with a beautiful ball to Dalton Kincaid. Touchdown. Bills up by a point and take a lead in the fourth quarter. That would lead to later in the game. They have a chance to extend the lead. 3rd and 8. He finds Shakir, looking like it's going to be a touchdown. He's in, but incomplete ball bounced first. Allen with a low throw leads to Prayer hitting a 31-yard field goal, making it 27-23 Bills with 4:11 to go. But Denver, 4:11 left, 3 timeouts, only down by 4. And less than a minute to go, Bo throws a dime to Marvin Mims, who hurt his back in the play, but sacrifices the body for the touchdown catch. But with 10 seconds left in the game, Matt Prater, 50-yard field goal. Remember, he's used to kicking in Denver, where he started his career. Good. Still doing it at 41 years old. 30 all. We go to overtime. Bills get the ball after Denver punts. They're just before their own 40. Josh Allen, all time to throw. 3rd and 10. Launches one. Brandon Cooks appears to come up with it, but in the end, all of a sudden, he doesn't have it. The Broncos have it. It was a very controversial play. I thought this was an interception. I don't think Cooks ever had full control. And as he kind of rolled over, the Denver player was able to rip the ball away from him with McMillan of the Broncos. I think that was the right call. A little over 6 minutes to go in overtime, 2nd and 10, about midfield. Bo Nix, deep pass, incomplete, but passing interference was called on Taron Johnson. A lot of people didn't like that call. I did think it's probably a penalty. He was holding his arm for a lot of that route. However, even if that's not a penalty, which is a fair statement to make, Joey Bosa with a brutal roughing the passer. No one was talking about that because they're focused on the play of the penalty that was actually called. Even if that's not called, that's a brutal roughing the passer that would have been accepted by the Denver Broncos. It would still have been 15 yards and a first down. And then a couple plays later, 2nd and 12, Bo, deep pass looking for Sutton. Appears to be incomplete, but another flag on the Bills. Tre'Davious White call for passing interference. It's another one. Bills fans are losing their minds. Like, why was it a penalty? He made a play on the ball too early. I don't know what to tell you. And then a couple plays later, Tre'Davious White is whining and bitching at the refs. He gets another personal foul. Can't do that. And that sets up a game-winning field goal for Will Lutz, 24-yarder. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. The Denver Broncos, with their first playoff win since they won the Super Bowl back in 2015, 10 years ago. And they are heading to the AFC Championship. Buffalo Bills losing the AFC division round is another playoff heartbreak for the Buffalo Bills, which is why it's time to have a conversation about Josh Allen. And I don't dislike Josh Allen. I really don't. He's a great talent. He's a great quarterback. He is one of the best in the league. But how many times do we have to do this? How many times has he not come up big in the biggest moment in the postseason? With all the officiating stuff, you can't blame the officials in that game. You just can't. Allen had 4 turnovers. Like that phantom fumble, like that lateral to nobody. I don't know what he was doing, who he was throwing to, what he was trying to do on that play. But that cost the team 3 points. They lost by 3 in overtime. That is the difference in the game right there, if you look at it from that perspective. So, he had a couple of bad interceptions. The one in the third quarter, right after the Bills forced a turnover of their own, to give it right back. A terrible decision to throw the ball there. The pick in overtime. I get controversial, but again, I think that's an interception. Okay? He turned the ball over 4 times. Okay? You just can't do that. Okay? You can't do that. And all the players bitching about the refs, like, stop. Okay? Go back to Cancun. Go back to snowy Buffalo. Stop pretending like Josh Allen isn't married to his very beautiful woman who's rich and is in all these great movies and has a $300 million contract, was MVP of the league last year. He's crying in postgame. Deion Dawkins is crying in the postgame. For Deion Dawkins, he's one of the most unlikable athletes I've ever seen. That guy is such a prick. Like, I can't get enough of his stupid tears. Cry me a river, circle that wagon, you freaking crybaby idiots. Okay? Bills are done. Which leads to the next piece of news regarding the Buffalo Bills. They have fired head coach Sean McDermott after 9 seasons there in Buffalo. So, look, I think this is about the extent of how far the Bills season was going to go. This was a slightly flawed roster. The receiving core could use some work. That being said, could use another pass rusher. You've had Josh Allen for 9 years, and a lot of it is on Josh Allen. He hasn't been able to get the job done. But, you guys won the guy for 9 years. The window's only... You're going to have to do some retooling to probably reset the clock on your window. A change was needed. He should have been fired probably 3 or 4 years ago. He's a defensive guy, and his defenses always fall apart come postseason time. A change was needed. However, why is Brandon Beane getting promoted from GM to president of football operations? He should have went first, honestly. Yeah, that guy should have went first. He should have went first. He has not drafted well in 3 years. The only players that he's drafted... I'm trying to pull something on my phone. I took some pictures off the internet. These are his last 3 drafts. In 23, drafted Dalton Kincaid, Osiris Torrance, Dorian Williams, Justin Shorter, Nick Broker, Alex Austin. 2024, last year, he drafted Keon Coleman, Cole Bishop, Dwayne Carter, Ray Davis, Cedric Van Granger, Dufon Ulofoshio, Javon Solomon, Timon Grable, Daquan Hardy, Travis Clayton, and this year he drafted Maxwell Harrison, TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, Deani Walker, Jordan Hancock, Jackson Hawes, Dorian Strong, Chase Luntz, Caden Prather. Now, a bunch of guys I listed were 5th, 6th, 7th round picks. Those guys usually don't turn to anything, but in the last 3 years, the only players that have made any sort of impact on this team are Dalton Kincaid's first round pick in 2023. He's a solid tight end. That was a good pick. Now after that, Ray Davis is a good kick returner, but that's about it. He doesn't give you a whole lot, like in the running game. He's as a second, even if it's a second string running back. And I guess Keon Coleman is a serviceable wide receiver, but still was a bust even for being a second round draft pick. He was benched for like 3 weeks at one point earlier this season. Landon Jackson, one of our DNs, didn't produce a whole lot. He was a deaf piece. Cyrus Torrance, second round back, who we thought could be a starting level offensive guard, has done nothing for them. He hasn't drafted well in years. And I want to give you the list of wide receivers that he has signed over the last years. This is the same guy, Brandon Beane, that is, who has, remember he went on a radio show before the year, and he was like, kind of calling out people for like criticizing him that he didn't do enough to address the wide receiver position in the offseason. These are the wide receivers he signed over the last 2 years. Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis he brought back, Elijah Moore, Matt Collins, who's no longer on the team, now on the Patriots and actually producing for them, McCole Hardman, Tyro Shavers, I don't even know who that is, Laviska Shenault, Quintez Cephas, Chase Claypool, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, KJ Hamler, and Jalen Virgil. I also don't know who that is, so I don't know who 2 of these guys even are. Josh Palmer is a deaf piece. Curtis Samuel is a deaf piece. Gave Samuel like $11 million a year. Guy's at best a 5th or a 6th receiver. Cooks is washed. He made some plays in the playoff, but overall he's washed. Gabe Davis is after mediocre Bills tenure. Went to the Jaguars, was horrible after getting all that money. They brought him back for deaf. Elijah Moore blows. Matt Collins was probably the best receiver, most productive receiver he brought in, and he let him go last year of the Patriots, and he's played well for them. McCole Hardman sucks. This guy was on the Jets a couple years ago. He was like admitted to like tampering and like tweeting out the team's offensive schemes. Guy's a bum. He's also horrible. Guy couldn't produce on the freaking Chiefs if prime Mahomes. Shavers never heard of. Laviska Shenault's horrible. Quintez Cephas is maybe a practice squad player. Chase Claypool is horrible. He's famous member late in the game with the Steelers. last minute. They were going no huddle, no timeouts. And he made a catch. And he's like taking his time, like celebrating. Freaking clown. Marquez Valdes-Scantling has a highlight reel of dropping wide open touchdowns from Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. He's horrible. KJ Hamler, former Denver Bronco third rounder cast off, who's a deaf piece, and Jalen Virgil I've never heard of. How does that guy still have a job? I do not understand. The Bills are cooked. They are never winning the Super Bowl. Screw them. Screw their fans. Screw Josh Allen. Screw the whole organization. Circle your stupid wagons, okay? Enough with the Buffalo Bills. Tired of hearing about them. The nightcap on Saturday, we did not have any highlights from because there was really nothing worth showing. The Seahawks beat the Niners 41-6. Absolute blowout. Niners didn't even get off the bus. This game was 17-0 at the end of the first quarter. Rashid Shaheed took the opening kickoff for a touchdown. Niners get stuffed on a fourth down. Seahawks go down and score again. And just right from the start was clear they were going to dominate. Kenneth Walker, over 100, he had 114 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in this game. Samuel threw the ball, I think, like 17 times. They ended up taking him out in the fourth quarter. They didn't want to get the guy hurt because it was such a blowout. Brock Purdy got rocked all night. He had 1 or 2 bad turnovers, and the Seahawks just hit them in the mouth. Even with George Kittle, I don't think they would have won. But once you knew George Kittle was injured, you're like, yeah, there's no chance they're going to win this game. Seattle pummels the Niners. Niners scored 9 points in the last 2 games against the Seahawks. They lost 13-3 in Week 18 to lose a chance at the 1 seed and fall to 6 seed. And they lost 41-6 in the divisional round. In fact, the Seahawks, they had an opening kickoff touchdown. They would have won the game if they never scored another point. They did not even have to possess the ball offensively if they wanted to win this game because they had the opening kickoff, make extra point. That's 7 points. Niners scored 6 all game. That is just embarrassing if you're the 49ers. Completely embarrassing. This is what happens when you're playing deep into January and February every year. You can't get it done. Injuries pile up. Guys get older, and you run out of gas. And that's what happened again this year. Seahawks win. Then heading to the Sunday games. The first game at 3 o'clock. Patriots beat the Texans 28-16. Texans' third straight divisional round exit. They advanced to the AFC. Patriots advanced to the AFC Championship for the first time since 2018 when they won the Super Bowl. That was the second to last year when they had Tom Brady. This is actually their first playoff win since 2018, 8 seasons ago.
They're going to throw. And complete. Douglas, touchdown, Patriots on 4th and 1. Pittsburgh, he's their Pro Bowl receiver. 2 big weapons not available. Stroud throws it, and diving try for the interception by Davis. And it's an interception. And first ever in the playoffs, May turned around. There was no one there, so he goes forward. Let's take a look at the end of this. Oh, yeah, that was punched out by Togiai.
That's such a great job by Togiai. He has been a playmaker.
Here they come. Stroud. End zone. Kirk. Touchdown. In trouble. That ball is up for grabs. Picked off. Back the other way, Jones. He is in for the touchdown.
This defense around in New England.
This one is off the hands and picked off. Hutchinson couldn't make the catch, and Craig Woodson did. May, end zone, the catch, the touchdown, Diggs. Across all of the ESPN platforms. First down at the New England 49. Play action. Stroud is picked again. Shortest third down they've faced. Anderson knocked it out. And it's recovered by Alshire. 2nd and 8, delayed handoff. It's Marks. He ran into a wall, lost a shoe. Ball comes out. Anderson coming off the edge. May steps into it, takes a shot downfield, and caught for the touchdown.
Let's break down that highlight. First quarter, 4th and 1. Great call by Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels, or whoever was responsible for that. May, over the mail, Pop Douglas, touchdown on the quick slant. Later in the quarter, 7-3 Patriots. Stroud, terrible throw, completely overthrows Kirk. I get he's under pressure, but don't just chuck the ball up, okay? Gotta be smarter than that. Carlton Davis, nice diving catch, makes the interception. Patriots could get the ball back. However, that would not last very long. A couple plays later, Drake May running up the middle on 2nd and 5, fumbles the football, timing to a guy you see on the slow-mo I showed, punches the ball out. Houston recovers. They get the football back in this game. And that would lead to a 3rd and 4, about the 10-yard line. Stroud to Christian Kirk, nice catch, touchdown, 10-7 Houston. They take the lead. Later in the quarter, Stroud, under pressure, hazy throws, just chucks it in the air. I don't know what he's doing. Picked off by Marcus Jones, returns it for a touchdown. Again, I get you're under pressure, not on you. Don't just chuck the ball in the air. Take the sack or throw it away. Yeah, that would have been a bad sack to take. Well, lost a lot of yards. But it's first down. It would have been, what, 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20. You still had a couple of plays left on those downs. You're up by 3 early in the game, a playoff game. You cannot give just 7 points away like that. Now it's 14-10 Patriots. They get the ball back 2nd and 11, and Stroud, it's tipped by Hutchinson into an interception by the Patriots. Another interception by Stroud. This one not really on him, but still, they get the ball back, 1st and goal inside the 10. 3:15 to go, and nice throw by May, zipping into a tight window to find Stephon Diggs. 21-10 Patriots. Next drive, get the ball back. 2 minutes to go. Midfield, Stroud, and he's picked off. Like, what are you doing? You see Carlton Davis right there. A terrible decision, terrible throw. 3rd quarter, maybe strip sacked again. He really has not played well in this postseason. Al Shahir recovers. Stroud time to get the ball back. Woody Marsh gets hit. Tries to find a hole, and he's stripped. A crucial fumble there by the Texans. May and then Patriots get the ball back, but now 4th quarter, what a catch by Keyshawn Boutte that was. A deep ball from Drake May, just incredible and a catch. They go up 28-16, now be the final score. The Houston Texans have a quarterback problem. I understand the offensive line isn't very good. That's on the front office and GM Nick Casario for not building a good enough offensive line around this guy. And, Trent Brown, the right tackle, and the rest of the lineman was hurt in this game. He didn't play. I get Nico Collins, your best receiver, your best weapon, was hurt in this game. He suffered a concussion and went over the Steelers. Both your top 2 tight ends got hurt in this game. Dalton Schultz and Kate Stover. So you were throwing it to Christian Kirk, Xavier Hutchinson, and Jaden Higgins. You're handing off to Woody Marks with not much of an offensive line. Patriots are a good team with a good defense. But 20 of 47 for 212 yards, 1 touchdown against 4 interceptions. You almost lost a couple of fumbles. Is inexcusable. Inexcusable. How do you barely clear 200 yards passing on 47 pass attempts? He was absolutely horrific. Completely inexcusable. I tweeted out at half that Davis Mills should come out for the second half, and I was 1,000% serious. In the 3 games he started for an injured Stroud, this offense looked better with him than it did with CJ Stroud. Davis Mills should have played in the second half. You would have won that game, in my opinion. Okay? What in the hell was that? For 2 years in a row, this guy's been horrible. I get they've lost pieces offensively. Joe Mixon not playing this year hurt them in the running game for sure. But at some point, you got to put the blame on this guy. Like, you cannot extend him. He was so utterly horrific. They had one of the best defenses I've seen in years. And to me, that's the best defense in the NFL. Wildly good defensively. Like, I just mentioned Stroud should not get an extension. Will Anderson should get whatever he wants. That guy is absolutely incredible. I'd argue outside of Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons, he's the best pass rusher in all of football. Maybe Max Crosby. But he's definitely top 5 in his position. No doubt. You have to give the guy a bag in the offseason. Defense is loaded. And I love D'Amico Ryan. I think he's a really good coach. He's done a great job there. One of the brightest young defensive minds in the game. Big reason why that defense is very good. But to not bring out Davis Mills in the second half, that's on you. Like, that is on you. And I get, like, when they punted, I get it. It's 4th and 19 from your own, like, 20-yard line. That's pretty hopeless. But you're down 12 points with 4 minutes to go with 1 timeout. What are you doing punting? Why did you give up? I don't understand. So that's on him. A lot of this is on CJ Stroud. They need to look at the quarterback position in the offseason. And the nightcap, the Rams defeat the Bears 20-17 in overtime. They advance to the NFC Championship for the first time since their Super Bowl win in 2021. They sneak past the Bears 20-17 in overtime.
Inside of 9 to go. Kyron Williams bouncing to the outside. Williams to the end zone. The Rams take the lead. At 5:43. Big drive. Williams protected. Sideline throw. Adunze. Did he bring him down? Yes.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 8. The penalty's half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
Here's the hit by Verse. Williams moves him. He's back. Inside throw broken up by Omar Spates. All 10 Bears at the line. Coming through. Evans gets rid of it. Not a good kick. It bounces around midfield, and the Bears are going to have sensational field position with 1:50 and a timeout. Command in motion. Williams drifting, sprinting for space, in all kinds of trouble, put it up for grabs in the end zone. Command! He got it! For the touchdown! Pitch. Coro. Off the first hit. Not the second one. Chicago. From the 48, deep drop. Williams. He's got time. Shot downfield in trouble. Is intercepted. 3rd and 6. Kyler Gordon's coming. Pressure on. The throw's caught. Nakua. First down. Puka drags Johnson to the 27-yard line. In field goal range are the Rams to send the Rams to the championship game. Mavis from 42 online, and it's good. And the Los Angeles Rams go to the championship game with an overtime win in Chicago.
To break down this clip, I started in the 4th quarter. The first 3 quarters, honestly, were pretty uneventful. It was 10-10 for a lot of this game. Kyron Williams gets a handoff on 1st and goal from the 5. Less than 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Punches it in, 17-10 Rams. Then later, 5:40 to go. Caleb drops back, finds Rome Odunze. Great catch by Odunze. Also a flag on the play. It was a roughing the passer penalty on Jared Verse. I showed the replay of the penalty in the clip. I wish that wasn't a penalty, but in today's league, you had a guy, even a second line, it's going to be a penalty. It's unfortunate. But then 3 minutes to go, 4th and goal, Caleb into triple coverage incomplete. What are you doing, Caleb? That's just terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But Bears get a quick stop. They call a couple timeouts, 4th and 7. Rams are punting from inside their own 5. 2 minutes to go. And a horrific punt. Like, if you punt this ball a solid 50 air yards, you have a better shot. A horrible punt. They get the ball on the Rams side of the field, 1:50 left and a timeout. We'll bring up a 4th and 4 from the 14-yard line, 27 seconds left. Caleb Williams would run backwards about 20 yards. I'm yelling at my TV like, what are you doing? And someone throws a dime for a touchdown. I'm not a Caleb guy. You guys know that, but that was an incredible play, an incredible touchdown pass to Cole Kmet. However, 14 on the Rams. What are you doing watching the ball? Defend the play. Get your head out of your ass on that. We're going to go to overtime. And 3rd and 1 on the first drive of overtime, the Rams. Sarah pitches it to Corum, who gets stuffed. I thought this was a terrible play call. Kyron had been in guy all game. Why is Corum even in there? I guess he's a good player, and it's not a good call. Bears get the ball back, only a field goal to win. 6:45 or so to go in overtime. 2nd and 8, just past midfield. Caleb drops back. 3 years to throw his ball, and he's picked off. What a horrible, horrible throw by Caleb Williams. Leads the Rams to have a 3rd and 6, less than 5 minutes to go in overtime. Pitch just past midfield, and he finds Puka Nakua just past the 30 in field goal range. Sets up a 42-yard try for Harrison Mervis, and he would just narrowly make the field goal. Rams escape for a 20-17 win to set up a third matchup this year with the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game this coming week. Caleb Williams cost them. Look, Ben Johnson should have taken the points earlier in the game instead of going for it on fourth down. That was costly. I think he did a good enough job. But can we stop blaming him for not going for two at the end of the fourth quarter? It's 17-17. Defense played well all game. Come on. Like, and that's the way you take the extra point, you go to overtime, you trust your guys. That's what you do. Okay. Caleb Williams threw 3 interceptions. All 3 were absolutely horrible. The one in overtime was horrible. Missed throws all night. Completed maybe 50% of his passes, a little bit less than that, I think. Only completed 50% of his passes in the regular season. He's not that good. He had some great moments in this season. Proved slightly, but I've been saying it for 2 years, at least. Caleb Williams is not that guy. They will not win a damn thing of him. Good season for the Bears. Winning, 12 games. NFC North Division title. Ben Johnson should absolutely be Coach of the Year. He's a great coach. That was a great hire. Wasn't sure about the hire at the start. I was proven wrong. He's a great coach. That was a great hire by the Bears. But Caleb Williams is not it. The sooner the Bears realize that, the better. You'll win nothing with him. Okay? This is the most fraudulent season by a quarterback I've ever seen. He will not do that again next year. I promise you that. With that, the conference championship is set. AFC will be the Patriots and Broncos. It's a rematch of 2015, which is kind of funny. It's the last time that the Broncos won the AFC championship game. Unfortunately, Bo Nix fractured his ankle in the overtime. He's out for the year. A brutal loss for a really good young quarterback. So Jared Stidham, who has not thrown a pass in 2 years, is going to start that game against the Patriots. The NFC will be Seahawks and Rams for the third time this year. Earlier this season, the Rams won when Darnold threw 4 picks. Jason Myers misses a 60-yard field goal as time expired. Then the Seahawks won that crazy overtime game late in the season. That's what really gave the Seahawks inside track of the number 1 seed in the conference. Then they meet again in the NFC Championship. So a lot of coaching stuff happened. Coaching news, guys hired, fired, interviewed. Already talked about Sean McDermott. The Giants officially hired John Harbaugh. There was rumors that he wanted Joe Schoen to step down or have his role change in the organization. Their general manager. They're still talking about financials. They officially signed the deal. He's officially the head coach. However, he's going to report directly to John Mara. He's not going to report to Joe Schoen. So something to keep an eye on. But he's officially the head coach of the New York Giants. Falcons are hiring Kevin Stefanski. They certified the deal. It's a 5-year deal to be the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. I think this is a great hire by the Atlanta Falcons. He's a good coach. He was screwed over in Cleveland by a very bad situation. Took them to the playoffs twice. Won a playoff game. I don't think any other Browns coach in almost 30 years won a playoff game besides him. He's a good coach. Deserves a second chance. I think he would do well in Atlanta as long as they get him a decent quarterback. In fact, even at 38 years old, I think Kirk Cousins, under Kevin Stefanski's guidance, could take the Atlanta Falcons to the playoffs. It's a very easy division to win. They can win 10 games next year with Kevin Stefanski. Very good hire for them. The Lions, this happened not too long ago. The Lions hired Drew Petzing as their offensive coordinator. I don't love his hire, to be honest, for the Detroit Lions. There was just better candidates out there. They interviewed Mike McDaniel. There's just better candidates out there. He was the OC of the Arizona Cardinals the last 3 seasons. And he did okay. He was shrouded with Kyler Murray, which is not him. Kyler, I've said many times, very overrated, not that good, very overhyped coming out of college. But Jared Goff's better than him. But this is the best candidate you could find, really. I think that's a bit of a weak hire, if you ask me. And as for interviews, the Titans are going to interview Robert Saleh, the 49ers defensive coordinator, of course, former Jets head coach. They're moving that interview up to today. In fact, it may have already happened. So it appears he will be a finalist along with Jeff Hafley, the Packers defensive coordinator, and Matt Nagy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator. I don't really like any of the candidates. I think Hafley's going to be the Miami coach. They're his buddy from the front office. He's the Dolphins GM. Nagy, proven to be a bad head coach. So has Saleh. Stop saying he deserves a second chance. He does not. I watched him for 4 years. Don't do that. So I don't know what the Titans are trying to do over there. Our Chargers are interviewed. Well, Stefanski was also one of their finalists. He also got the Atlanta job. Chargers interviewed Brian Dable and Mike McDaniel for offensive coordinator. I think both will be very good hires for an offensive coordinator. And Mike McDaniel is also interviewing for the head coach job of the Las Vegas Raiders. And the why he's getting head coach interviews. OC interviews, he should be the offensive coordinator for the rest of his life. As a head coach, I'm good. The Pittsburgh Steelers are interviewing Mike McCarthy for their head coaching position. Why? That is fat Mike Tomlin. I don't know why you would do that. It's the same damn thing. Do not do that. You'll be in the same position that you have been for the last decade. But Dolphins interview Joe Brady for head coach, which is interesting. If it looks like the favorite being halfway, I wonder if the Bills can promote him to head coach. I think he should be one of the favorites to get that job. And the Green Bay Packers extend head coach and Matt LaFleur and GM Brian Gutekunst. I don't understand. I get Gutekunst. He's not a bad GM, but LaFleur, really, come on. I guess he's won a lot of games there, but I wouldn't have even brought the guy back into that collapse against the Bears. Not acceptable. Not sure why he got extended. And with that, I'm going to finish today off by picking the who I think is going to be hired as the next head coach for the remaining 8 opening. Of course, Giants already hired John Harbaugh. Falcons already hired Kevin Stefanski. I had a feeling Atlanta's going to end up with those two. I thought Stefanski might get the Giants job. Harbaugh might go to Atlanta. But I flipped them on accident. But I did think that those two guys would end up in those two spots. But moving on, these are my predictions for the other 8 openings. There's going to be 10 new head coaches in the league next year, which is crazy. The Baltimore Ravens, I think it'll be Brian Flores. They've already interviewed him. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think he deserves a second chance with a better quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson, overrated, hasn't been able to get it done in the playoffs, but he's two-time MVP, way better than, Tua. And he didn't handle things with Tua well, Brian Flores, but he was right about Tua. He's not a very good quarterback in this league. You give him Lamar Jackson, I think he could do wonders for that defense. He was able to hire a proper offensive staff around him. I think Flores is exactly what the Ravens are looking for. I think they just needed a different voice in there. The Bills, I think it will be Joe Brady. I think he gets to the promotion. He's a very good offensive coordinator, very good offensive mind. I think they just need a slight change in Buffalo. The Titans, it's probably at this point, I thought it might be Mike McCarthy could get an interview there just to kind of, maybe he can get something good out of Cam Moore, kind of, straighten things out over there. But it looks like it's going to be Matt Nagy. I think it's going to be. I don't agree with it, but I think it's going to be Matt Nagy. For the Raiders, I think they hire Clint Kubiak. I was thinking maybe Brian Flores have a shot at getting that job. He's a Brady guy. He also knows Brady from their time in New England. Brady's heading the search along with GM John Spytek. But I think there's a better chance he takes the Ravens job. I'll say Clint Kubiak gets the Raiders job. He gets a chance to work with a lot of good young offensive players. They're going to be drafting for Fernando Mendoza, I would think. Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers are already over there. I think that makes a lot of sense. So I think it's good for a young guy like Kubiak. Arizona Cardinals, I think it'll be Jesse Minter. He's a good defensive coordinator. He's done a great job with the Chargers defense. Arizona, they're not a very good job. Their cap situation is very bad. They have a third pick, but they need a quarterback. They won't be able to get one because this is a one-quarterback draft. They won't be able to draft one. Roster isn't very good. The Kyler cap hit's going to kill them. So they're not going to be able to attract a top candidate like a Clint Kubiak, a guy like that. So I think it'll end up being Jesse Minter. You bring in a defensive mind. I don't love that hire for them. I'm not sure if he's ready to be a head coach, but that's probably what it's going to end up being. The Steelers, I think it's going to be Chris Shula. I think the writing's just kind of on the wall with that one. They like hiring young defensive coordinators. That's what it's probably going to be again. He's done a phenomenal job with the Rams. The only reason they won't be, they can't actually interview him in person until the 26th because he's still playing. But he's done a great job as the defensive coordinator for the Rams. He's a McVay guy. I think he's a perfect fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Cleveland Browns, I think it's going to be Jim Schwartz. He's already been interviewed twice. He's been their defensive coordinator the last few seasons. He's done a good job with that defense. He's been a head coach before. Wasn't very good with the Lions in 5 seasons. However, before Dan Campbell, the Lions didn't have a single good coach that had really any success there. Besides Jim Caldwell, who they fired for freaking Matt Patricia. Freaking bums. But that's just such a horrific job. They're in cap hell. No quarterback. They won't be able to get one in the draft. Roster is terrible. They're going to be stuck with Shedeur Sanders next year. Probably a lame duck GM and Andrew Barry. I think it'll be Jim Schwartz. If not, maybe I think the OC from Jacksonville is getting some looks there, but I think it'll be Jim Schwartz. Dolphins, I think it's going to be Jeff Half. I think the rating's kind of on the wall. He's friends with John Eric Sullivan. Eric Sullivan was with Green Bay for a while before he took the GM job there. I think it's very likely that he gets that job. I don't even hate the hire. Halfley's done a good job with the Green Bay defense. I'm not sure he's ready to be a head coach, but Miami is, I think, the worst job out there. The roster is terrible. You're in cap hell. Not that high of a first-round pick. Chuba Capit will annihilate you. Don't have a quarterback. Won't be able to acquire one. Terrible roster. You're at best the third best team in your own division. Bad ownership. No playoff votes in 25 years. That's I don't know who would want that job. I think they're going to have to. John Eric Sullivan's going to have to hire his buddy Jeff Halfway and just call it a day. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.